Are we good? First of all, I guess it's good to be the Lord.
It's always good to be a member of the aristocracy because you always get the best clothes.
He does have some nice clothes, doesn't he?
Mm.
Yes. What was it about? I mean, for me, I love seeing you play the bad guy. You just do it so well.
Thank you.
What was it about, Lord Blackwood that you said, wow, what made it different for you?
I think that if you are the villain or the nemesis of the hero in anything, you have to kind of work out a way to get the audience on your side somehow. And Blackwood was a real challenge because he's pure evil. There wasn't anything that I could read in the script that I thought was anything other than just unremitting badness. Mm-hmm. And it was a real challenge to find where I could humanize him, how I could make him real. And hopefully without giving too much away, his conception and where he and his young life, for me, was the key to why he behaves as he does. Mm-hmm. So, to answer your question, it was because he was such a challenge to try and find the element of making him real rather than just a two-dimensional evil guy.
Right, yeah. And how Sherlock savvy were you before starting this film?
Well, if you grow up as a young boy in England, it's part of your education, really. And I've seen Basil Rathbone, I've seen Jeremy Brett, I've seen all the incarnations, and very nearly did a film of Hand of the Baskervilles recently. So it's always around you. So I'm aware of him.
So once you got this script, I mean, let's face it, you've worked with Guy Ritchie before, so you knew Guy's style. Yeah. You kind of knew in a way, I know he's going to bring something great to the table here. Yeah. But then you see Robert Downey Jr. take on this character in a way that we've never seen before. What was it like for you to just kind of watch him transform into this Holmes?
Well, I didn't know, obviously, when I came on board what kind of Holmes he was going to be. Mm-hmm. When I heard that he was playing Holmes, I was delighted because I've been a big fan. As a fellow actor, I just know that his kind of mercurial ability to transform himself into pretty much anything is amazing. And then the first scene I think we played together was in the prison, and I got to see what he looked like and what kind of a Holmes he was going to be, because you can't really work it out from sitting around a table talking about the scenes. But I quickly got a sense of this Holmes who was bohemian. He was quite casual, quite obsessive, compulsive. And what I love more than anything is the idea that his ability to solve problems and spot clues is born of a mental over-energy that he has, a kind of excess of mental energy that almost prevents him from being unable to block out clues. And then I realised kind of obviously the fusion of what Guy brings to the table, which is that, and what Robert brings as an actor, and what's in the stories and short stories. The fusion of all those things makes for a really interesting new version of Sherlock Holmes, but still rooted in, where he comes from.
What impressed you about Robert once you saw him, getting into this character? And
his intelligence and his energy. Because I think as an actor, you have to have. I've been asked once what makes a great actor, and I think the thing that I think is more than anything is appetite. You have to want to take this thing on, and Robert's appetite for this part was evident from the day one.
Yeah, and then you see him with Jude Law. I mean, they had better chemistry than I've seen with a lot of male-female counterparts. I mean, the two of them were so fantastic together. What was it like for you to, also watch Jude in action?
Well, again, I mean, I've known Jude over the years. I've met him a couple of times, never worked with him, but I had no idea how they'd worked together. And obviously the thing really relies on that. Although in the script, I'm not sure that you necessarily got a sense of what they eventually have brought to the screen. They've brought something extra in that they got on really well as individuals. So that was fascinating to see.
Yeah, and then of course Guy Ritchie. Like I said earlier, he is just brilliant. I love this guy, and it just has so much energy, this film. But with Guy, when you work with him, I mean, he doesn't pussyfoot around. He knows if he gets a take in one shot, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you love so much about working with him?
His taste. I know that when he likes something, it's good. So as an actor, when you're in front of the camera, what you want from your director behind it is to tell you what's good, what's bad, what's working, what isn't, the size of performance, should it be bigger, should it be smaller. And if you trust their taste, which I do with Guy completely, you're in safe hands.
What was it like for you to work with, the special effects and all that type of, stuff that was going on in this film? There's so much of it. But yeah, you did shoot a lot on location too in London. So that must have been very comfortable for you as well.
Yeah, the special effects element, which was most interesting, was all the stuff on the bridge, because that was actually shot in a studio in Brooklyn. And of course, there are things that happen on that bridge that we couldn't have done in real life. Girders crashing down, things like that. And you had to imagine everything. You had to sit there imagining that you were, hundreds of feet above the Thames while some girder comes crashing inches away from you, and play that with absolutely nothing there at all. I think at one point I shoot Robert. I don't even have a gun in my hand, and he goes out, and suddenly in the film I've got a gun and he's being shot. And special effects these days are amazing.
Oh, really? It's just incredible. Now, you started off early, before you became an actor, and thank you for becoming an actor, because I think you're just so fantastic.
Oh,
but you had studied law. You were thinking about being a lawyer. So what changed your mind?
Law was incredibly boring. I just couldn't sustain wanting to look in that many books. And I think I realized I wanted to act being a lawyer. What I wanted to be was a guy in a raincoat with a briefcase driving a BMW, because I did law in Germany, in Munich, in German. So that pretty much finished me off with the law. But I realized that I wanted to play it. I wanted to act it. And also what was very useful was knowing what I didn't want to do. Made me realize, if you're going to choose something for the rest of your life, it better be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah, it looks like you're having a lot of fun. And just briefly, I want to ask you about shooting The Young Victoria again, shooting that in London, and the beautiful costumes and set. I mean, it's just a brilliant film. I really loved it. But you worked with one of our, Jean-Marc Vallée, who's one of our Canadian from Quebec. Like, who would have thought this Quebec guy making this beautiful film in London?
Yeah, wonderful, isn't it? I mean, I love the fact that he was brought to it, because he wasn't reverential in the way that British people are about period drama, because we have a tradition of it. He was coming in as an outsider and taking a look, and there were certain things that he shot even more reverentially than we would, and there were other things that he shot more as a kind of domestic relationship. And I think what he brought to it was an outsider's look at something which kind of served the film.
Yeah, beautiful. And having Sarah Ferguson as a producer?
Was insane. I know. It was quite odd. I think Beatrice was in a scene. I wasn't there. Yeah. But the whole kind of royal connection for that made us all sort of stand up a little bit straighter and work a little bit harder.
I would think so. When I met her in Toronto, I was like, this is surreal. That's really wild. Well, Mark, like I said, you've just done a fantastic job in this film.
Thank you.
I hope we see you back for more. It could be a big franchise, this movie.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. Thank you.
Lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.